Roger Federer pomjera granice tenisa, obara rekorde i postavlja nove standarde u sportu. I sa 36 godina igra vrhunski tenis. Osvaja turnire i podsjeća na svoje najbolje dane. Prvi ATP naslov u karijeri osvojio je u februaru 2001. godine na turniru u Milanu, a već 2. februara 2004. bio je prvi na ATP listi. Na tom je mjestu do novembra 2012. proveo ukupno 302 sedmice. Od toga 237, skoro 5 godina uzastopno, bio je svjetski broj 1. U 2 decenije dugoj dosadašnjoj profesionalnoj karijeri osvojio je sve što se moglo osvojiti. Još početkom 2015. ostvario 1000. pobjedu, što su prije njega uspjeli samo velikani Jimmy Connors i Ivan Lendl. Federer je pobjedio na 91 turniru, ima 18 Grand Slam titula, po 5 na Australian i US Openu, 1 na Roland Garrosu i 7 na Wimbledonu. Jedini je teniser sa 10 finala i 5 uzastopnih pobjeda na Wimbledonu. Jedini igrač u historiji koji je najmanje 5 puta pobjedio na 3 različita Grand Slama. Jedini koji je na 2 Grand Slama, Wimbledonu i US Openu, pobjeđivao 5 puta uzastopno. Od 2003. do 2007. nije izgubio ni jedan meč na travi. Imao je tada ukupan skor 54-0. U cijeloj karijeri na terenu nije predao nijedan meč, a propustio je samo jedan Grand Slam ove godine u Parizu.
I don't think it matters so much on the results, to be honest. I think it's all decision based on my health and on how I feel, you know, really going into each and every season. The decision of the French Open was taken within a couple of days. This was not something I saw myself doing weeks and months ahead of time. For the longest of time, the schedule was to play Paris, and then all of a sudden I just felt in the team and within me that I didn't feel comfortable doing it, and I didn't want to do any compromises for the big goal was the grass court season in Wimbledon and the US Open and beyond. So I felt like the French Open was only going to maybe cause, you know, a negative effect potentially on what's to come. Maybe it was also going to be helpful, but I felt there was more risk that it was going to go the other way than not, and that's why I just decided, based on health, that it was best to skip. But this is not a trend that I might continue in the future. I don't know what the future holds. This is just a one-off decision in my opinion.
Osvajao je Roger Davis Cup, zlatnu i srebrenu olimpijsku medalju. Ima 26 titula na turnirima iz najprestižnije Masters serije. Ima i svoje omiljene turnire. Jedan od njih svakako je i ovaj u Haleu.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I love playing here. I played here so well, so often in recent years that yes, I think I can come in here with good confidence. It's important for me, especially after the Stuttgart week, to now come in here and just make sure I win this first round match and get on the way really and get going and start taking the right decisions on the tennis court, not question myself too much, and have sort of the right focus and the right mindset for the point mentality really, because I think that's what was a little bit off, understandably so, potentially in Stuttgart. So just got to learn from that week and now move forward in a better way. But I think the 8 wins here and the history here that I have, having come here so often, feeling so comfortable here, is definitely going to make me play good tennis here. I grew up on clay and the indoors really, so for me those are my home surfaces, if you like. Most success might have come on the grass or on the hard courts, which is not my natural surface, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, it's nice to have an extra week, but at the same time I don't regret for a second that I didn't have more grass courts, you know, or that I wasn't born in the era where there was 3 Grand Slams on grass compared to 1 now. It is what it is, and I enjoyed the challenge always of the surface changes and the little time we used to have going from Paris to Halle and then moving into Wimbledon, so it's all good for me.
Bilo da igra u Haleu, rodnom Bazelu, New Yorku, Dubaju, Monte Carlu ili Melbourneu, Roger je igrač koji ima naklonost publike. To se ne mijenja čak i kada s druge strane mreže stoji domaći teniser. Iako na teniskoj sceni traje dugo, ljubiteljima ovog sporta širom planete nije dosadio. Razlog je jednostavan. Roger na svakom meču iz rukava istrese barem djelić teniske čarolije koja se pamti i prepričava. U karijeri je zaradio više od $1 milijardu, ima 4 djece, 2 puta blizance, djevojčice i dječake, ali brine i o 1 milion siromašne djece širom svijeta, obuhvaćene projektom Federer fondacije. Roger Federer za Al Jazeeru je govorio prije početka turnira u Haleu.
First of all, thank you for your time, Roger. And it's not easy, I know, but now we are almost 20 years you are around on the top of the sport of tennis, traveling, winning trophies, tournaments, etc., etc. Are you tired? How do you feel?
No, I feel good, you know. I mean, yeah, I'm tired from one day to the next sometimes after a long match, like, you know, I'm supposed to be, but I'm not tired of tennis or from the tour in general. Otherwise, I would be at home doing other things, you know. I'm very pleased of how much fun actually the tour is, how great my team is, how the fans pick me up from time and time again and want to see more of my tennis game, which for me is beautiful, and I'm very happy to still be playing, and my career went so much better than I thought it would ever do, so I'm really enjoying this part of my life right now.
Actually, you've never been absent from the tennis tournaments or tennis activity. Right. Once was it 2005, 2008, but very short.
Yeah, very short.
And the last one was really long.
Yeah.
All we are afraid that you will not come back. Did you be afraid about this?
I mean, I had respect of the situation, you know. It was my first surgery I ever had to do in my life, so of course there is the unknown factor of when you wake up after surgery and your knee is, you know, not mobile and you don't know how it's going to be like. Of course there was uncertainty, you know, maybe even scared in some instances when you're starting to walk again and you realize you can't walk without crutches. Once the crutches are gone, you start to run only lightly. You know how long
to learn to walk again.
It's a long process until you can actually run again, and then do that for 5 hours in a row, day rest, and do it again for 5 hours. That's what the body has to be ready to do. So it was a tough process, but one I actually kind of enjoyed as well, because it was something totally different than anything I've ever done before, and it was important to be mentally strong, positive.
That's what I want to ask you.
And I
physically, mentally.
Well.
And what did you learn about your body? Is something new?
Well, I think my body was ready to have a break, let's be honest. So I think that it was a sign that, you know, you need a rest, and that's why I think the surgery was the first sign, and then after the knee never really got 100% better, I needed to have more rest and more strengthening of the knee and of the muscles around it, so I would be stronger, and it was worth it. Plus I think my mind also needed some rest and some, you know, rejuvenated coming back to the tour, because I played on the tour, as you know, ever since '98. I've been playing full schedules, so almost 18 years in a row, and at some point I think I deserve 6 months. In a year, 6 months is a lot, but in 20-year career, 6 months is all of a sudden not so much. So I'm happy I did the break, and I couldn't have hoped for a better comeback than what happened in Australia this year.
It was almost perfect decision.
It was perfect, yeah. It was perfect,
and then,
absolutely.
Did you surprise yourself?
Completely.
In Australia?
Yeah, no, I mean, I expected myself to maybe play quarterfinals if things go well, because I was ranked 17 in the world. I hadn't played a tournament before in a long time. I would have had to beat maybe 2 or 3 top 10 players to make the quarters. If I would have lost first round, I would have dropped outside of the top 30. By winning, I got back to world number 10.
A lot of things.
There was a lot of things going on, and the way it ended with 5 sets against Nadal, it was magical, and maybe one of my best moments of my life as a tennis player.
When you was breakdown in 5th, what was in your mind in the moment? Because we know the history matches between you and Nadal. You're always behind.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was actually kind of positive, to be honest, because it was the first time that I was down in the score, because I started very well, won the first set, lost the second, won the third, lost the fourth, and then I was down in the 5th. And that's where I was just trying to stay positive, tell myself, well, I've actually been playing very well throughout. Just because I'm down 3-1 in the 5th doesn't mean everything's bad. So I was really trying to stay positive, but of course there was also there again, you know, why again? Why am I losing again to Rafa? But I was able to play my best tennis in the last 20 minutes of the match, and
it was absolutely
and finished
incredible.
the dream run.
But all those matches against Rafa after, You beat him 4 times in a row. It never happened before.
Never happened before, yeah. I mean, I guess, you know, sometimes you go on better spells. I also did play him. Those 4 times now that I've beat him in a row were all 4 times on hard courts. If those 4 would have been on clay, probably I wouldn't have won 4 in a row, but you know, you have to take them while you can. He also beat me a lot of the times on clay, but he's a wonderful, wonderful player. So I think because of me playing more aggressive with my backhand and really having a free mindset, I think that's what allowed me to win so many times in a row now against Rafa recently.
Let's say this rivalry, Rafa is probably tougher players. Other guys like Novak, like in last time the Tenis there, there is Andy Murray, of course, and Rafa is. How is in this circulate atmosphere between you? What do you think? Is it still Rafa toughest guy from those?
I mean, I think for me it is, yes, clear, and it will never change, just because of his incredible lefty geometry kind of play with his top spin, finding my backhand whenever he wants. It's a natural shot for him to go cross court. So it's just it's a tough matchup for me. And every serve, you know, he hits into the backhand or into the forehand, you know, as a mix-up. It's a tough play for me. I always knew that from the first day I played against him. Then, of course, on clay, he's virtually unbeatable. He showed it again this year in Paris, which was absolutely fantastic to see. I was able to win the French Open for the 10th time. But then again, I think Novak, his record, you know, in the last 8 years has been tremendous. It's been fabulous, and I really enjoy playing against Novak because I think our matchups are always very exciting. Stan's power is unreal, you know. Murray, his anticipation and fighting and you know, feel for the understanding of the matches are very, very interesting. So I like playing against all these guys, but I don't like to forget the older generation who were amazing for me to play against as I was growing up as well.
Actually, you play with 3 generations. Actually.
Yeah, I did.
And when you mentioned Novak, what do you think? What he needs to do to come back to be the same one?
Well, I'm not sure. Because I have been injured myself and I've had my fair shares of problems myself. I haven't actually seen him play very much because when I'm not at tournaments, I watch very little tennis. When I'm at the tennis tournaments, I watch a lot. Yeah. And then recently he hasn't maybe played so well. So I've seen him play very little, and I've not come across him in the locker room or in the players' lounge very much. But my take is that after winning the French Open last year and holding all 4 Grand Slams, which is just historic, it's gigantic really, I think he just needed to do some soul searching and ask himself the question, what else is there for me to achieve now, and go from there really. So I think it's an interesting situation. It's not difficult per se, but it's not simple. So I think it took him some time to figure that part out, and he's too good of a player, like Rafa is too good of a player. They will always have success. Maybe it's going to take longer than people expect, but I think he's going to be, again, very successful in the future.
Quick question, go back a little bit in your youth. So he was a little bit temper when he was young. A little bit. How did you manage to overcome the situation, to be calm, to concentrate just on the game, not to throwing rackets around?
Well, I mean, for those who don't know, I was pretty crazy when I was younger. I mean, crazy, I was very emotional. I used to throw rackets, shout a lot on the tennis court. I would cry a lot after lost matches, and I was just a wreck sometimes during the match and after the match. And then eventually it took me a long, long time until about 22 years old where I felt like, you know what, I know who I am on the tennis court. I know how to behave to be successful for 6 straight days, you know, because that's what it took sometimes to win tournaments, or how to be successful mentally over 4 or 5 weeks. That's how long sometimes some, you know, tournaments last, you know, or a trip in America lasts, and until you can go home again. And that was hard for me, just to be, you know, really focused and understand why I'm working and what I'm working on. I think at the end it was for me, my mind telling me, okay, I understand why I'm working hard, why I'm traveling to the tournaments, what I'm trying to improve, how to behave. People are watching me on TV live, in the stadium, live on TV. I don't want to be looking like an idiot, to be quite honest. I want to be maybe a good role model to kids. That's when I changed my attitude around, and it served me well, because now I'm very successful, you know, on the tennis court, because of my mind has become almost an asset for me, whereas before I would lose a lot of matches because of the weak mind I used to have.
Is there any point when you realize, I'm here and I will make what you did in your career?
Like,
Is there any moment when you said, okay, now I'm ready to...
Yeah, I mean, you have milestones,
right.
You know. I guess winning junior Wimbledon in '98 was, and then finishing #1 junior in the world at the end of '98 first made me maybe start dreaming that maybe I could do that in the seniors. Then I think cracking top 10 is a big deal, you know, just because that makes you really...
First Wimbledon then?
And then beating a Sampras at Wimbledon 2001, winning my first Wimbledon, first World Championships in 2003 when I beat Agassi in Houston. That was a huge moment for me. I finished the year world #2, won my first Grand Slam, won the World Championships, and from then on, my career was different. I won the Australian Open after that. Two months later, became world #1. And from then on, I was at a crossroads and had to decide, do I want more of this, or am I happy with everything I achieved? And I decided to work extra hard and be extra committed, and I'm happy it was the right decision.
Idols in your, because in my opinion, not only mine, you are unique on the court, but you might have idols on your youth.
Yeah, I mean, for me it was Boris Becker, Stefan Edberg. I used to watch their Wimbledon finals, you know, in the living room back home in Basel in Switzerland. Then Pete Sampras was a favorite player of mine. I used to enjoy following Marcelo Rios as well with his easy style that he used to have. And then I enjoyed watching, playing against the likes of Carlos Moya, Tim Henman, and all these guys on the tour that when I came up and they were still around. So I think they were very important for me to have somebody to look forward to, not maybe copy, but take the best from all these players.
I can't see anything. Did you copy from any of those players? But still. Now we are coming on the question of coaching. You changed a lot of coaches. 7, as I remember.
Yeah, 7 in 20 years, it's okay.
It's all right.
Yeah.
For the difference, your new coach, Ivan Ljubic, has only one. Who made the biggest impact in your?
It's really difficult to tell, but I think I've had all the coaches I had. For me, seemed I had them at the right time. You know, my junior coaches taught me the technique. Peter Carter was very influential in my behavior, in who I am today, I guess, like a father figure. So, and also technique-wise. So I'm very thankful to him. Then I had a lot of coaches that made me work extremely hard. You know, like Tony Roach. And I think Severin Luthi, my coach today, also, he's been with me for so long that he's been a great friend, but mostly a great coach who taught me a lot about tactics and just about everyday work ethic. And then, of course, Ivan now, as of late, has been great. You know, I mean, he's a good friend of mine. He's the first coach I've had who played in my generation. Before they all didn't play, like Jose Guerras, Paul Annacone, and Stefan Edberg. Didn't play against the players I played against, but they were incredibly interesting to talk to, and I'm a great historian. And of course, my first coach, Peter Lundgren, who, when I came on tour, was very, very interesting for me to have as an older brother there, who told me all the tricks on the tour, you know, how to practice, when to practice, with whom I should practice, which tournaments to play. And it's also with him I won my first Grand Slam. So I'm really thankful to all my coaches. And then, of course, I also have had a wonderful fitness coach in Pierre Paganini, who's been with me basically the whole way.
I remember when you broke the record, 15 on Grand Slams. On the stands was Björn Borg, was Rod Laver.
Yep.
Pete Sampras come from America, first time he stopped. Have you been nervous? We know the score against Roddick. We remember, everybody's remember tiebreak in second set and high backhand volley out.
Yes.
It was really have you been nervous in this match?
Very, yes. And it was very special to see all the legends sitting there, you know, expecting history to be broken maybe. So that makes
maybe hoping not.
Hoping not, or hoping yes, but you know that maybe something would happen, and they all came to see me. It's what makes me most nervous is when fellow like tennis players and legends of the game come and watch me play. For me, that makes me nervous. So it was a beautiful moment. Plus, I had this epic match against Andy Roddick, who's a great friend of mine and who I admire so much, and it ended in this beautiful match after we have to also imagine the year before I lost in this brutal match against Nadal, 8-6 or 9-7 in the fifth. And the year before that, I also had 5 sets against Nadal that I won.
Always
so
Nadal.
we've had like 5 sets, and then that 5 sets against Roddick to break the record. And my wife was pregnant. I just won the French Open a month earlier. It was like the perfect summer, and everybody was there, and the record was broken, and it was one of the best moments in my life.
Roger, how does look your day for kids?
That's busy.
Can you give us any idea how it's difficult?
Every day is totally different because you don't know what the kids are going to do every day, and if you're going to wake up and they're going to be crying right away, or they're going to be so happy, you know, you don't know. So I'm just managing more their their feelings, and I'm educating the girls that are turning 8 soon. The boys are just wanting to play, you know, left, right. So I'm just trying to help them with everything they're doing, and really enjoy spending time with them. And then I try to practice at some stage during the day. It's all pre-organized usually in the beginning, and usually I practice in the afternoon time, so I have more time in the morning with the kids. And then in the evening, when everything works over, massage is done, I've spent time with my family and my kids, I usually go out for dinner with either my friends and my wife. We always try to go out for dinner and have a nice time, and then I fall into bed extremely tired.
I forgot to ask you a question before about material. Usually the people talking about material in the skiing, I know that you are a skier. I know that you was in St. Moritz to celebrate Foyt's win in the fantastic race and downhill. Are you regret you didn't try to change the racket before? The size?
Not really. To be honest, I was having so much success. I felt so great with my old racket that I changed in 2002, and there was some variations to that racket all the way till 2014. And I think it was the right time for me to change. I was happy to change. I was always talking to Wilson about what else could we create with technology, because string technology has had a huge impact in tennis in recent years. Also, just racket technology has been tremendous. What we've seen in the changes from wooden rackets to what we play with now, it's unbelievable. So I was always very open, but it was difficult to make major changes, especially racket head size. But when I had all the back problems I had in 2013, I just said, you know what, I have extra time, let me go through some testing. And that's when I felt like the time is right for me to make a change. And I'm happy I did, and it paid off, because now I can really play easier, aggressive, attacking tennis, which before wasn't so simple.
And for the end, you said the goal, milestone is not #1.
Right.
What is the name?
Right now?
Yeah.
I think staying healthy, #1, but enjoying myself and being successful in tournaments. So that means winning as many tournaments as possible, still beating the best players when I play against them, you know, and making sure my family is okay with everything I do. So managing my family life, my schedule, my tennis life, my health, and all that stuff is really most important to me before a ranking, to be honest. Ranking, if it's not #1, it's everything else.
Thank you very much, and we wish you the best.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.